later for those of you who haven't heard their...
Excellencies, ambassadors, it's a real pleasure to be here. I hope you're all enjoying your meal. Mine is a small Kenyan proverb that says mine is just to say something small. Chinua Achebe said, "A man who calls his kinsmen to a feast does not do so to save them from starving. They all have food in their own homes. When we gather together in the moonlit village ground, it is not because of the moon. Every man or woman can see it in his own compound. We come together because it is good for kinsmen to do so." A corollary to that one is something that probably every African mother has said at some point when their children say, "Please, can we go out for lunch after church or after visiting so-and-so?" And what we usually say is, we have food at home. So then, Prime Cabinet Secretary, I want to thank you for hosting this lunch so that we can gather with our kinsmen and women and agree together. The wisdom of Ecclesiastes says that two cannot work together unless they agree. So thank you for calling us for this meeting, to sit together and to agree. And I want to thank the leadership of the ministry, my brother PS, ambassadors and leaders, and all of you, excellencies, for taking your time to come and meet with us and enjoy this meal with us. We look forward to continuing to work with you in all of the areas that Waziri has set out, as well as the others that we've already been collaborating on.
Kenya also remains committed to promoting constructive multilateralism that ensures safeguards a fair and equitable international order, promotes respect for international law, and champions the adherence of the UN Charter. Kenya is persuaded that this is the best way to address difficult and challenging global issues. As you are aware, His Excellency President William Ruto is championing African and indeed the global climate action in his capacity as the chair of the Committee of African Heads of State and Government on Climate Change. Kenya will continue to advocate for a stronger African voice in the global climate change debate and a more prominent leadership role for Africa in global climate action. As we approach COP28, Kenya intends to deliver the outcomes of the Africa Climate Summit, which was held in Nairobi last September. On matters of maintenance of international peace and security, I wish to extend my appreciation to the international community, which through the United Nations Security Council approved the deployment of an international security operation to the brotherly nation of Haiti. Kenya extends her appreciation to the international community for breathing life to the multinational security support mission to Haiti, which Kenya hopes to lead. We are counting on your logistical, financial, personnel, and other critical support that would be essential to Haiti's stabilization. Excellencies, Kenya's peace and security credentials are widely known in the region and throughout the world. We believe that there can never be meaningful economic advancements without peace and stability. Likewise, we remain persuaded that to be African is to have global responsibility, which is why we have consistently risen to the occasion whenever peace and security in our region and beyond is threatened. The Juba Peace Agreement, the inter-Congolese dialogue, and the deployment of the East African Community Regional Force to DRC, the efforts at silencing the guns in Ethiopia and Sudan, as well as other peace initiatives, dovetails appropriately with our pursuit of a stable region, continent, and world. Your partnerships, engagement, and support have been crucial in buttressing Kenya's and indeed the African peace security architecture in totality. I would like to reiterate that under the able leadership of His Excellency the President, William Ruto, the ministry remains well guided on the promotion, projection, and protection of Kenya's strategic interests in collaboration with our friends and partners. In this respect, and in order to enhance and improve strategic coordination, the government has reviewed the decision that previously allowed diplomatic and consular missions, UN agencies, and international organizations to directly contact government ministries, departments, and agencies. Going forth, all correspondences with the government shall be transmitted through the Office of the Chief of Protocol, State Department of Foreign Affairs. We believe that this review will allow for a more coherent approach to issues of mutual concern, and we seek your kind cooperation on this matter. We will also refine the internal systems in the ministry so that those hiccups that we may have experienced shall be dealt with and will have a more robust engagement. Excellencies, Kenya aspires to strengthen its economic diplomacy in order to increase economic opportunities for our people. We are delighted to be a pilot nation for the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, the world's largest free trade zone with a population of 1.2 billion people and a GDP of $3 trillion US. As you are aware, Kenya sits at the confluence of three important regions of Africa: the Horn, the East African Community, and the Great Lakes region, thus becoming an important gateway to the rest of the continent. I appeal to investors from your countries to take advantage of Kenya's strategic geopolitical positioning, our macroeconomic stability, as well as the country's progressive economy for mutual prosperity and growth.